Hi guys, long time no see. If you are new here, I'm Devin, and I usually read books, and this is Devin Reads Books. We've been a little inconsistent for the last few weeks. Today we're going to talk about why and what's kind of been going on. And then we're going to get into books I've been reading, things I'm going to start here once August hits. And then my next video, and the big video that I'm working on. So first and foremost, I do want to say that the Romantasy vlog is just getting scrapped. I didn't like how it came out. I didn't like how it was looking on the editing table. No matter what I left on the cutting room floor, I was just not going to be content with that. And that's okay. I tried to record that during a very tumultuous time. We're still going to talk about Pride of the Orange Tree and Scorpion and Night Blossom, but it is going to be in kind of the wrap-up video that's going to come after this. As for what's been going on, I was laid off, unfortunately. I took an interim job that was very chaotic, and then now I am back in the tech space. I work for a SaaS in the heart of downtown Denver. And I've just been kind of onboarding and getting reacquainted with that and falling back into a routine. But now into the problem. I've definitely just kind of hit a reading slump. And that's kind of the core of this video, really, is the things that I usually do and I'm trying to do to kind of get back out of it. But some of it might be reading slump, some of it might just be burnout and stress while I'm getting settled into my new job and everything will even out. I don't know. So the first thing I tried to do when I felt the slumpiness come on was read something that was very nostalgic, evoked these feelings of joy and wonder and childhood memories, I guess you could say. And so I started Nick of Time. I have the actual cover in the living room, so I'm not gonna go get that. I think I've talked about it before in one of the previous videos. But it's very Treasure Island vibes, which is one of my favorite stories ever, but has time travel and Leonardo da Vinci. It takes place during World War II in an island off the coast of England. There's a lot going on in this book, and it is fun, but it hasn't really been scratching the itch, which is why I'm only halfway through after a month of reading not even YA, children's fantasy. It just hasn't quite been doing it for me. So from there, I kind of pivoted. What helped a little bit more was I went ahead and I started my next vlog. Well, vlog style video, I should say. This one will be a little bit different. And the books that we're gonna talk about, one I've already finished. I read pretty quick. I read in about a week, which was longer than I should have taken on a book this size, but in the middle of a slump I'll take. And that is The Clown Watches the Clock by Micah Schnabel. And then I'm not going to put the dust cover back on, but Devil House by John Darnielle is what I'm currently reading for the second half of this vlog. And then working on the scripting and the skits and the stuff that I want to do. This one's going to be a little bit different. I am starting to feel a little burnt out on doing the same kinds of vlogs. I want to do different, varied content. I want to have fun with it too. I want to enjoy the process a little more. So this is a project that I think will be a little more fun. The Clown Watches the Clock is a little hard to describe. It's kind of contemporary, but not really, because it is a fictional time, fictional present, so to speak, about a man, a clown, just trying to be the antidote to cynicism. That's all we're going to say about that. And then Devil House, I'm not very far into, but a true crime writer buys a house to write a new book where a cult kind of grew into existence. I am really enjoying this. I really like John Darnielle's writing style, and I think that's going to help. And that brings me into the second thing I've been doing, and that is intentional reading. I don't think that what I'm about to describe is the actual definition of intentional reading, but what I am doing basically is I'm not binge reading, I'm not reading like I normally would. I'm really kind of shutting everything else down, shutting everything else off, and just making myself read very slowly. Really try to absorb the information, almost like I'm in high school again, and I know I have to write a 9-page paper analyzing the text. I don't necessarily know that is bringing me out of my slump, but I think it may be kind of helping let other external stressors kind of fall away. While trying to take the pressure off of reading, I did finally pick back up Boy's Life. And again, I'm just doing a chapter at a time. Boy's Life by Robert McCammon is very much that type of book, where a lot of the different chapters are just individual memories in the main character's life. So that's been a really big help to kind of break into this pulling back on, reading 7, 8, 9 books and just kind of focusing on digestion, so to speak. And one way that I have been doing that is I started just not really book journaling, at least not what anyone else here on BookTube would define as book journaling. I have some loose annotations in my books. I'm trying to get more comfortable annotating my books, but also just tracking my reading in general. Very quickly, what the date is, what I read that day, starting page, ending page, and then if it's a larger chunk or something I felt was significant, then I would just kind of blurb about that a little bit. So one of the books I'm going to get into, because I've been doing something else a little bit different, I just wrote that this section highlighted much of the history between Russia, Ukraine, and the US. Just very small steps, right? And just making reading an important part in these small moments. And then finally, this is not something that I think is going to work for everybody, but it is something that tends to work for me. I am the type of person that when I get something I can really obsess over or some kind of documentation I can dive into, I tend to do that, and I tend to block out everything else. I tend to get very lost in it. And so to kind of help get through this slump, or however you want to describe it, I've been really diving back into nonfiction. I don't have it over here, but I have a notebook over there that I use for like biology and paleontology nonfiction. One of the notebooks in my Lockerbie thing is just filled with notes and page annotations of Putin's World by Angela Stent, which is a book I started a while ago, but with my new job I do commute into Denver once a week, and so I've been really tearing into it while on the light rail, the train into downtown, and it's really kind of helping me get back into this state of continuous reading while being able to block out everything else, just really pushing away all that mental noise. As for description, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds. It really just highlights modern Russian history, its relationships through the lens of Putin's claim to fame. It does talk about Yeltsin and all the other leaders pre-Putin and around Putin, as well as what Russia would consider the near abroad, right, which are really just former USSR states that were Russia during the USSR and when Putin was coming up through the ranks, I should say, but now have gotten their independence or pseudo-independence in the case of several countries, not Crimea or Ukraine. There are some nation states which are run independently but are really just that way because their president is already aligned with Putin. And then kind of just where they fit in the modern world and where the modern world fits around them. And so diving into something like this is really kind of helping get back into the enjoyment of reading. And then finally, the big thing was I just haven't been talking about books on here as much, and I don't really like that. Some of it was because I am trying to plot out different types of entertaining videos. I really like doing the vlogs, but I don't like monotony in anything. And so I really want to kind of play around with some concepts and editing ideas, things of that nature to the best of my technical ability, my restraints based on what I actually have. And I have one really fun project with the Michael Schnabel and John Danielle books on the way. I am still kind of plotting out what I want to do for Halloween-a-thon and the videos that I'm actually going to be able to do physically. And I think that with my new job and my work from home 4 days a week schedule, is going to be really good to get back into the swing of things. But I definitely need to kind of work on finding a balance, and I think that's part of it, even if it is just a small part. Yeah, this was the first like big reading slump where diving back into a comfy book, like a comfortable book, a nostalgic book, didn't really do it for me. It didn't pull me out of it. Usually that's enough. So that was a little alarming, but I feel pretty comfortable that I've been able to kind of pull myself back out of it a little bit. It's definitely got me journaling a bit more. Now that I've been reading things slower and really trying to focus on that analysis side of it. You know, I haven't done that since I was in high school, frankly. I don't even remember how much of it we did in college. And so that has me kind of looking at books on my shelf, like I want to read this and examine it and really dissect it more. And how can I make this content entertaining? How can I make this the focus? So that's all I have for today. Eventually I am gonna go back to 2 videos a week. Probably looking at around Halloween-a-thon for that, frankly. Maybe September. But for now, I want to know how you guys handle reading slumps, what you do to get yourself back out of them, how you fall into them, you know, the different things that maybe we could all be a little better at recognizing beforehand, and then building a plan to kind of pacify that feeling or sensation of being in a slump. Anyway, guys, thank you for all your patience. Thank you for watching. I am Devin. This is Devin Reads Books, and I will catch you next time.